Ladies and gentlemen, I have always opined on this particular platform that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence, and that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing just happens for the sake of it in politics. Yesterday, Mutahi Ngunyi, through his social media handle, made some revelation that he's been trying so hard to reconcile Uhuru and Ruto. This is what he posted. I am trying to reconcile Uhuru and Ruto from the back. I think it is good for the country, especially after Uhuru's speech in Abuja, where he came through as a mediator and a statesman. That statement by Mutahi Ngunyi is not by coincidence. And just 1 month ago, Mutahi Ngunyi also made a similar statement. This is what he posted 1 month ago, that dear Ruto, to stabilize this country, make peace with Uhuru Kenyatta. Forgive him for betrayal. If the two of you unite, the country will be safe. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine who is close to the powers that be once told me that Mutahi Ngunyi and a few former Uhuru Kenyatta's allies were piling a lot of pressure on Uhuru Kenyatta to work with Ruto, but Uhuru Kenyatta was not willing to do so. So in this video, I want us to look at why Mutahi Ngunyi is actually trying to reconcile Uhuru and Ruto. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Without any further ado, let us get back to the main issue. Why do you think Mutahi Ngunyi is trying to reconcile Uhuru and Ruto? For me, if you ask me, the move by Mutahi Ngunyi is significant. And I normally take Mutahi Ngunyi seriously for several reasons. Number one, Mutahi Ngunyi is the guy who coined the tyranny of numbers. Tyranny of numbers is what Kibaki government used to actually rig themselves in, to rig Uhuru and Ruto in 2013. In that tyranny of numbers, Mutahi Ngunyi alleged that you only needed the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin votes to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. The other reason why I normally take Mutahi Ngunyi seriously is because he's also the same person who came up with the hustler narrative. The hustler narrative is what actually propelled William Ruto to the presidency. By the time Mutahi Ngunyi was trying to withdraw the hustler narrative by suggesting that the hustler nation is dead, it was already late. And importantly, which is my third point, is that Mutahi Ngunyi worked as a consultant for Uhuru Kenyatta in his second term, and he was actually based at State House. So he was a key player around Uhuru Kenyatta. But can Uhuru and Ruto reconcile? In politics, I've always stated that there are two constants. The first constant in politics is interest. As long as the interest of Uhuru and that of Ruto can converge, these two gentlemen can always work together. But can they work right now? I don't think at this particular moment their interests are converging. The other constant in politics is betrayal. Ruto betrayed Uhuru. Uhuru betrayed Ruto. So it's a zero-sum game for the two. But they can work together. It's only that a few issues are standing between Ruto and Uhuru working together. Number one, when Kenya Kwanza took over office, they embarked on humiliating Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember during the swearing-in ceremony, how Rigathi Gachagua humiliated Uhuru Kenyatta in front of dignitaries. That particular incident can actually frustrate this move by Mutahi Ngunyi. Number two, there's a time Mama Ngina's security and that of Uhuru Kenyatta were actually withdrawn. It is alleged that Mama Ngina was in Mombasa and this driver was recalled. Humiliation. And as we speak, Uhuru Kenyatta's security has been scaled down. His farm was raided without security. So I don't think this gentleman can reconcile. Then you also remember that Uhuru Kenyatta was appointed to be the chief mediator for Ethiopia DRC peace initiative. Then at some point he could not go because William Ruto's government frustrated him. He had to wait for another letter to be written for him to proceed. So those simulations can stop Uhuru Kenyatta. And remember, the most important thing which can frustrate these talks is the raid on Uhuru Kenyatta's farm. Who ordered for that raid? So before Uhuru and Ruto can sit down to discuss about working together, one of the things they'll bring on the table is Kenyatta family farm raid. And the person or the people responsible are very close to William Ruto, which means there's no way William Ruto can sacrifice his key allies just because of Uhuru Kenyatta. But why do you think Mutahi Ngunyi is making these attempts? For me, there could be several reasons. Number one, they called outside. You know, there are people who are deeply in power. They were calling the shots. They were determining tenders. They were determining who is employed where. They were determining almost everything in the last regime. They were very powerful. When the regime changed, these guys are currently in the cold, including even Mutahi Ngunyi. So these are the individuals who would want to find a way of sneaking in to the government. They believe that if Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto can start talking, can start working together, then probably their chances of joining government would be high. They will no longer be in the cold. So these are the people who are really pushing. Because cold is outside there, pushing for Uhuru and Ruto to work together. Number two, I also tend to think, and I could be wrong, that William Ruto is leaving nothing to chance. As much he has Rigathi Gachagua, Moses Kuria, all those people post Uhuru Kenyatta on his corner, the truth is Ruto is on a charm offensive mission. He's trying to reach out. He's using those who are close to Uhuru Kenyatta to talk to Uhuru Kenyatta so that they can work together. If you ask me, that is exactly what is happening. Otherwise, there's no way Mutahi Ngunyi can just emerge from nowhere. Again, if you've been very careful of late, you should have noted that Mutahi Ngunyi, Rigathi Gachagua has been attacking Uhuru, but William Ruto is not doing the same. When Uhuru Kenyatta's farm was raided, Rigathi Gachagua was happy. William Ruto was angry. So it tells you that William Ruto could be on a charm offensive. And number three is Uhuru Kenyatta's inner team. You know, some of Uhuru Kenyatta's allies were involved in certain activities. They were in power, corruption. They did that. They frustrated Ruto. They are now guilty. So they want that guilt off their shoulder. What they can do, seek for a truce, seek for a handshake, seek for peace. What a better way to use Mutahi Ngunyi, because Mutahi Ngunyi, in my view, is the right person. Having been a strategist, Uhuru Kenyatta listens to him. So he can go, or he can draft a strategy for Uhuru Kenyatta that, boss, look here, for us to survive, we need to work with Ruto. So I tend to think that these former inner circles of Uhuru Kenyatta are behind these deals. And number 4, I also tend to think that Ruto is still trying so hard to implement his strategy of isolating Raila Odinga in Azimio. The moment Uhuru Kenyatta will be removed from Azimio, that would mark the end of Azimio, if you ask me. Uhuru Kenyatta is basically the glue that is holding Azimio. They understand this. So anybody who wants to deal with Azimio, simple thing, just look for Uhuru Kenyatta, have peace with him, work with him, ask him to come with Raila Odinga. If Raila Odinga cannot come, let Raila Odinga be. Then Kalonzo Musyoka will not work very closely with Raila Odinga without Uhuru Kenyatta. The rest, the same. So for me, William Ruto is still keen on isolating Raila Odinga, destroying Azimio by trying to reach out to Uhuru Kenyatta. And lastly, I also tend to think that there are people in this country who are just keen on lowering the political temperature of the country. The political temperature of this country can be lowered when leaders talk. One of the talks is, let's have Uhuru and Ruto have a handshake. Let's reconcile them. Let their team start working together. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.